Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Kyle Richards' Stranglehold is killing the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Through the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills 14 seasons, there's been one constant: Kyle Richards. As the only OG housewife, Kyle has gotten particularly familiar with how things run on the show. However, recently it's come to many viewers' attention that she has become so intertwined with production that she's no longer just a cast member. She's the one steering the ship. Kyle doesn't follow the network's orders anymore. She makes the orders. She has this stranglehold over the series, where she always seems to know the agenda ahead of time, and somehow manages to dodge the tough questions while everyone else gets dragged in the mud. If the network doesn't do something about the stranglehold, Kyle could end up killing the series. Reunions are the most blaring example of Kyle's stranglehold over RHOBH. Without fail, she is always placed beside Andy Cohen, which is considered the spot where the housewives who created the most drama of that season are sat. However, she's not there to get flamed, just to take in the spotlight. This is where Kyle's superiority complex shows. Kyle always dominates the conversation, but is never really held accountable for her actions. Andy always tiptoes around her, asking questions that Kyle has almost rehearsed the answers to. A notable example is how Erika Jayne was wrung out at the reunion during her divorce versus how Kyle was treated. Erika was grilled on everything surrounding her divorce, from nasty rumors to legal scandals. Nothing was off limits, and that's how most housewives are treated. However, Kyle seems to get a special pass. Andy seems to avoid the rumors surrounding her separation from Mauricio Umansky, including the real estate mogul being seen partying with much younger models. When Kyle begins to look the slightest bit uncomfortable, he backs off. Erika was not given the same special treatment. While all the ladies are grilled on their mistakes throughout the season, Kyle always seems to skate by with rehearsed emotion and fake humility. She seems to choose between playing the role of the victim or the voice of reason, but never takes accountability as the villain she truly is. Reunions are all about real confrontations and unfiltered emotion, and Kyle's curated narrative is ruining that authenticity. Kyle's stranglehold on the series also shows when the other housewives tiptoe around her. The only person I would say is somewhat holding her accountable this season is Dorit Kemsley, but that comes after years of sucking up to her. Kyle did one of the lowest things a friend can do: break girl code. After sending texts to Dorit's soon-to-be ex-husband, Paul P.K. Kemsley, and lying about the nature of those texts and their friendship, I think Dorit should have had a far stronger reaction. You just don't talk to a best friend's ex, even more so since the two aren't talking. However, I think Dorit still has this feeling that her fate with the show lies in Kyle's hands, and she can't get on Kyle's bad side or else she'll be punished. Erika and Sutton Stracke bow down before Kyle like no other. Although Erika is trying to play Switzerland, you can tell that she will take any opportunity to throw in a comment in support of Kyle. Sutton may as well lick the ground Kyle walks on. She seeks constant validation from Kyle, and that really showed in St. Lucia. During a group dinner, Kyle finally defended Sutton when it came to her feud with Dorit. And in her confessional, Sutton said, "Kyle's stepping up for me. See, I knew we were friends. I knew it. And now everybody does too." Sutton knows that sucking up to Kyle will get her in a good position on the show. Meanwhile, Garcelle Bavas and Bozoma St. John have called Kyle out, but are still careful not to go too far. Garcelle took an opportunity at the season 14 reunion to expose Kyle, saying that something she told Garcelle off camera seemed like it was said to shut her up. Garcelle didn't go as far as saying what Kyle said to her, most likely out of fear of the repercussions. Although both Garcelle and Boz have had the confidence to call Kyle out, neither have had the guts to truly expose her. You can visibly tell that all the castmates are scared of Kyle and are following her lead, which is really off-putting and defeats the purpose of reality TV. If Kyle's stranglehold over the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is an indication of one thing, it's that the series needs a major cast shakeup. Everyone needs to be on equal footing, and that means the network has to cut ties with Kyle. Between hogging the spotlight, curating narratives to fit her interests, and creating an environment where her castmates have to tiptoe around her, Kyle has become untouchable. And the favoritism is so thick, there was a time when the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills sparkled like the diamonds in its iconic opening sequence, a dazzling whirlwind of opulence, high drama, and couture-fueled chaos. But somewhere between a spilled glass of rosé and another tearful dinner in Provence, the show's beating heart began to flatline. The glitz remained, but the soul? Diminishing. And if you trace the lifeline of RHOBH from its gilded beginnings to its current staleness, one name casts an increasingly long, immovable shadow over the franchise: Kyle Richards. Kyle is no longer just the last original diamond holder standing. She's the self-appointed axis around which the show must turn. And while that might seem like a natural evolution for a veteran housewife, the reality is less flattering. Her stranglehold on the cast, the narrative arcs, and even the tone of the show has calcified what was once a wildly unpredictable ride into a controlled, almost sterile product. It wasn't always this way. Kyle was once the grounding force amidst the eccentricity of the early seasons. She was the loyal sister, the doting mom, the reliable narrator in a sea of unpredictable personalities like Camille Grammer, Brandi Glanville, and Kim Richards. She provided context, offered comic relief, and could be counted on to stir the pot when needed. But over the years, that role quietly shifted. Now, Kyle doesn't just stir the pot. She decides what gets served. The evolution, or devolution, depending on your lens, of Kyle's power has coincided with the exodus of many fan-favorite housewives. Lisa Vanderpump, whose feud with Kyle in Season 9 sparked the infamous Goodbye Kyle moment, left under a cloud of controversy. And it's no coincidence that her departure followed a power struggle with, you guessed it, Kyle. Lisa Rinna, a polarizing but undeniably dynamic force, exited after years of oscillating between villain and truth-teller. Denise Richards, Carcel Bouvat, and even Sutton Strack have all at one point or another found themselves subtly edged out or minimized when they threatened to disrupt the Kyle-centric status quo. What's frustrating isn't that Kyle is a bad housewife. She's not. In fact, she's often compelling, especially when her personal life unravels on screen. Her marital struggles with Mauricio, her shifting friendships, and the mysterious entanglement with country singer Morgan Wade are reality TV gold. But rather than fully surrender to her own messy storyline, Kyle continues to dodge, deflect, and defang any real drama that implicates her too deeply. Instead, she diverts the attention, orchestrating storylines that keep her in control and others in chaos. Case in point, her long-standing role as the narrative narrator during confessionals. Kyle's interviews increasingly feel like production notes rather than authentic reactions. She guides the audience on how to feel, whom to believe, and what to question. This control robs the show of organic conflict and replaces it with curated, PR-friendly tension. We're not watching the drama unfold, we're being told how to interpret it. Then there's the Kyle Protection Squad, a rotating cast of allies: Teddy Mellencamp, Dorrit Kemsley, and Erica Jane, to name a few, who rarely challenge her, often back her up, and occasionally serve as proxy attack dogs when Kyle needs to stay above the fray. The result: a lopsided ensemble that lacks the electric chemistry and honest friction that made RHOBH binge-worthy in its prime. The truth is, great reality TV thrives on unpredictability. Viewers want to be surprised, outraged, even confused. The early seasons of RHOBH were operatic in their chaos, a swirl of true emotion, petty grievances, and unforgettable quotes. Remember the bunny, the dinner party from hell, the Amsterdam glass throw? That messiness came from a cast unafraid to let their lives unravel in front of millions. Today, the show feels more like a sorority brunch, staged, polite, and painfully rehearsed. Kyle's iron grip extends beyond the screen. Insiders and longtime fans have speculated that her close relationship with Bravo brass has afforded her a level of protection others simply don't get. While some housewives are swiftly reprimanded or axed for missteps, Kyle continues to be framed as the glue holding the franchise together. But glue can become a trap, and in this case, it's trapping the show in a loop of diminishing returns. To be fair, Kyle has given more than a decade of her life to this franchise. She's weathered family feuds, public scandals, and the slow disintegration of her marriage in real time. She's earned her place as a pillar of RHOBH. But longevity alone isn't enough. The show must evolve, and evolution requires risk. Right now, it feels like Kyle is more interested in maintaining control than telling a compelling story.